Okay, so what is going on? Um, Things are not adding up here. It's looking like from a lot of people are saying that Islam Makhachev is ducking Ilia Topuria right now. There's not quite enough evidence to confirm that this is true or not, but it certainly is leaning toward that being what is happening. So, a lot of stuff have been going on. So, like here's the whole situation's been going down. So, there's a lot of speculation going on with the White House event because a couple days ago, Justin Gagey said on some podcast that he didn't even know he was fighting the White House card till the day before. And the day before that, I'm pretty sure on like that Thursday, apparently he was told that there's no chance he's going to fight on the White House card. However, the very next day, they then tell him he is going to fight on the White House card. What is that? And you remember, Dana White said there was at least one fight that fell off on the White House card. It wasn't able to go through. I think it was the main event, guys. And I think everyone else should think this too. Because why is it that the main event, two halves of the main event don't even know they're going to be headlining the White House card the next day? Because Dana White said Ilia Topuria didn't know either. However, Ilia Topuria said he did know. So, who's lying? One of them's lying. And I believe it's probably Ilia Topuria. However, it is looking like Islam could potentially be ducking Ilia Topuria. So, this is what happens. So they didn't even know they were fighting the White House card. What I think happened is the UFC called Islam Makhachev, and they asked him to fight on the White House card. And I think they asked him to fight Ilia Topuria, because I think Ilia was called by the UFC, but not this week. I feel like it was like a couple months ago, if I had to guess. Because, Dana White started matchmaking like 2 months ago. I think they called Ilia and Islam months ago, and this is what happened. Islam Makhachev declined. He said his hand's injured and he can't fight. And now Ilia Topuria, apparently they must have called Ilia Topuria first, saying Islam is the guy we want you to fight. Ilia said yes immediately, and then he gets told that you're actually going to fight Gagey. Islam's hurt. I don't know when all this went down, but I do think this went down. Because as you can see, when Ilia found out he's fighting Gagey, he said this. Once again, Islam comes up with an excuse. This time it's an injury. I always knew I'd be part of the White House event, even when the UFC told me at one point that they wouldn't count on me for the event. I knew it was part of the negotiation. When they finally told me I would be on the White House card, they mentioned Islam. See, that's huge. They mentioned Islam. Dana White never said anything about mentioning Islam, but Ilia is saying they did. And he said, I didn't hesitate for a second to accept the fight. Even though the fight hadn't been officially confirmed yet, the White House card was going to be announced the next day. And when I woke, I found out that Islam had gotten injured, and then Justin Gagey appeared, once again, someone else who will pay for Islam's escape. Okay. First of all, if someone is injured, they're injured. They can't fight. However, to pass up an opportunity like the White House card would be the biggest event of his life, probably the biggest fight of his entire life. That is something, because, you remember Alex Pereira fought with a broken toe or foot or whatever, and there's other people who have fought through broken bones. We don't know how serious the injury is, but still a little bit concerning to me. It must be really bad. However, I can still see from Islam's point of view, you would want your hand healthy for a fight like this, especially against Topuria, because you don't want to lose. And then Justin Gagey appeared, once again, someone else who will pay for Islam's escape. Both their manager is a B-word and also ugly as heck. Justin, see you at the White House. I'm not someone who humiliates people. It will be quick. When you wake up, everything will already be over. So he's saying the same things that pretty much he told Charles Oliveira, and I do believe Ilia Topuria on this part. I think it will not last very long before Ilia puts him out cold. However, back to this topic. Things are adding up. Do I think Islam Makhachev's ducking? I do not. However, a lot of people think they do. The majority of fans do think this is happening. But, guys, you have to think this reasonably. Islam Makhachev is the pound-for-pound number one fighter in the world. Do you really think the man at the very top of the kingdom is going to duck anybody? Why? What's the point? Why would he duck a guy smaller than him? Ilia Topuria is a 155er. Islam's a 170er, and Islam is pretty small for 155. He's short. He doesn't got a good reach. There's no reason for him to be scared or ducking Ilia Topuria. And I don't believe he is. Now, there is a lot of lying that goes on Islam's side. Like, Islam's manager, Ali, he tends to lie a lot, so you can't really pay attention to too much he says. But here's another tweet that comes here. Islam Makhachev responds to Ilia Topuria saying, "We both know who chickened out here. You can cover your cowardice with nasty tweets, but don't worry, one day you will get what you asked for. And your fat A-word manager don't have to ask for billions to fight me. We'll do it for free." Okay, so Islam's saying Ilia chickened out. He's the one who's ducking. I don't believe Ilia Topuria would ever duck a fight either. I just don't believe either of these guys would duck. So I think both of these guys are not ducking. I think Islam's hurt. I think Dana White called Islam Makhachev and he said he was hurt. His hand's injured, so he can't fight. That's surprising because, again, Islam's manager Ali has been saying there's a big fight coming for Islam this summer. I don't know. I don't know how recent this. That means this hand injury must be very recent. So someone is lying. Something is not adding up. More than one people might be lying. I don't know the full extent. It's being covered up. I want to know the truth. Other MMA fans want to know the truth. What is going on? Why didn't this fight get made? When did Islam's hand get hurt? Can someone release some information about it? Because I personally don't believe either of these guys would duck. I mean, they're not scared of anyone. I mean, I don't see why they would be. Because Ilia is number 2 pound for pound. I just don't feel like either of them would duck. So things are adding up. The person who needs to start talking is Dana White. What really happened? Did you even call Islam Makhachev? He didn't even mention Islam's name in the UFC 326 post-fight press conference. So we need to keep asking him questions. I mean, he's getting enough media time. We need to know what's going on. I think it might. Hopefully, we'll get more information on this as the days go on by reliable media sources. But I want to know what happened. I mean, these are the 2 best fighters in the UFC right now. We want to know why this fight didn't get booked, if they even looked for this fight, what's happening. Because I think Dana White did try to get this fight booked, and I think Islam said no because he was hurt. Ilia obviously is going to say he's ducking. I don't believe he's ducking. But Ilia said he'd be ducking. Islam said Ilia is the one who chickened out here. I don't believe that either. So this is my prediction. I think the truth is he called both of them on the same week. Like, I think both these guys got a phone call on the week of the White House because they didn't have a main event yet. They really didn't. There was no main event scheduled because Dana White said there was never a fight between them. And then he tried to get this as the main event. And Islam declined because he was hurt. So then they called Gagey. Because remember, Gagey was told he wasn't going to be on the White House card. They never told Ilia he wasn't going to be on the White House card. So I'm drawing up clues myself as I speak right now. So I think that is the best possible outcome of what happened. But here's the question. Why did you not have the main event selected on the week that you were going to announce the card? Why? How is the main event the last fight you get announced? I don't understand that. I mean, the UFC has been very lazy the last year announcing fights. We all know that. I think Dana White just lost the love for the game. I mean, he's been moving on to Zuffa boxing. I mean, he just signed Conor Benn for like $15 million. I think he cares more about his Zuffa boxing than the UFC now. He's kind of just lost the motivation to care. Because otherwise this fight would have been made months ago. So, I don't know what's going on. What do y'all think's going on? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Make sure y'all like, subscribe.